Carolina News Today is brought to you in part by the Wing Company of Pembroke, serving award-winning wings fresh, not frozen. Live entertainment weekly, 703 West 3rd Street in Pembroke. 10% discount for students and teachers every day. TheOriginalWingCo.com.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services has secured $8.5 million in new federal and state funding to support behavioral health needs of people impacted by Hurricane Florence. The funds will help make recovery possible for those in the state's disaster-declared counties. Part of the grant will fund a door-to-door outreach program because many people needing services had to relocate. Many with substance abuse problems and other behavioral health issues are still in shelters and trying to get back on their feet.
The Hurricane Florence Relief Fund on campus has surpassed $30,000 in donations. The university has processed about 75 student applications for relief money and about 30 employee applications. Some students are homeowners and need assistance for repairs. Others needed food assistance, and some traditional students needed supplies such as books replaced. Lost wages were another concern. University Communications Director Jody Phelps said one student set up a GoFundMe page and transferred the proceeds to the school's relief fund. She says community support was swift.
We've had much generosity in the community and people stepping up to really want to help those students. And that's 100% of those donations go straight to the students or the faculty and staff from those funds. And then there's a committee that reviews the applications and disperses that. And we were able to get that up, I think actually, the day of the storm or the day the storm finally went through. It was definitely still raining when the relief fund applications went up. But it was important for us to get that out there really early and make sure we've communicated to people, we're here to help you. Please don't let this stop you from continuing your education, and let us know what we can do to assist.
North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein is requiring the Harris Jewelry Change to hand over documentation to further an investigation into the company. North Carolina is just one in a 14th state group investigating the store's business practices, targeting military personnel. The states are alleging unlawful business practices related to misrepresentations and omissions in Harris's advertising and financing. Dubious practices include telling service members they can build credit through in-house financing and convincing them to max out their credit limit.
The Department of American Indian Studies is promoting its annual Native Foodways event, which is next Thursday. It's their 10th annual potluck that recognizes Native American Heritage Month. And this year, they've booked a guest chef. Dr. Jane Halliday says he's a real rock star in the culinary world. Sean Shearman, and he'll be doing cooking demonstrations with traditional ingredients.
His book last spring won a James Beard Award, and he has been doing an amazing job traveling globally and doing cooking demos and presentations in all kinds of communities, but primarily Native communities, using their local foods and helping people understand what they have in their region that's traditional, how to prepare these foods in healthy ways and delicious ways. I mean, it's fabulous cuisine. He'll use all kinds of ingredients, but his cookbook has nothing that's a Western dietary import. He doesn't use any dairy, he doesn't use any white flour or white sugar, and he doesn't use any he doesn't use chicken eggs, he uses duck eggs. And for sweetener, he uses maple sugar and maple syrup, all foods that are indigenous to North America. So he's going to come and do a food demo at Native Foodways this year, and then the night before, November 7th, Wednesday, at 6 p.m. in the Museum of the Southeast American Indian, he'll be giving a public presentation and signing his book. Both of those events are free, open to the public, and we would welcome anyone who has an interest to come and join us.
Dr. Halliday was in the WNCP studio for a recent episode of Campus to Community with host Hannah Baggett-Anderson.
With the weather getting cooler across the state, Department of Transportation maintenance crews will be checking supplies and inspecting equipment to get ready for potential winter storms.
And as daylight savings time approaches, here's NCDOT Now with tips on how your driving safety can be affected.
Welcome to this week's edition of NCDOT Now. I'm Carly Oleksick. With the weather getting cooler around the state, the department's county maintenance crews are checking supplies and inspecting equipment to get ready for potential winter storms.
Buncombe County workers conducted a dry run where crews familiarized themselves with snow routes and tested all equipment to ensure it was functioning properly. Over the next several weeks, all 100 North Carolina counties will conduct these drills to make sure crews and equipment are ready for winter. In order to maintain 80,000 miles of roadways, the department has many pieces of equipment, including 2,250 dump trucks with plows and salt or sand spreaders, 503 front-end loaders and backhoes, and 324 motor graders. As part of these drills, crews also assess the supplies of salt and sand, which are essential during snow and ice removal. The department can store up to 170,000 tons of salt and sand, equivalent to about 34,000 African elephants and more than 1.5 million gallons of brine at its maintenance facilities statewide. Brine is a salt water mixture that helps prevent snow and ice from freezing on major highways. Each county has its own brine-making equipment. As daylight saving time approaches and trick-or-treaters are out on Halloween, remember some tips that can help keep pedestrians safe. Drivers should remember to slow down and remove sunglasses at dusk. Adjust the rearview mirror to the night setting to avoid headlight glare, and look for pedestrians, bicyclists, and deer along the roadway. Pedestrians need to avoid jaywalking and crossing between vehicles. Walk facing traffic to see oncoming vehicles, and wear brightly colored clothing so drivers can see them. The North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program will kick off the 2018 Booze It and Lose It campaign with a statewide 5-day campus tour of the breath alcohol testing vehicle, also known as the Batmobile. It will make stops at universities around the state between now and Halloween Day. Remember to pre-plan before you party. You're smarter than that.
For this month's rule of the road, remember to move over a lane or slow down when passing an emergency or law enforcement vehicle with flashing lights that are parked on the highway shoulder. Failure to do so could result in a $250 fine. And that's all for this week's edition of NCDOT Now. As always, you can stay connected with us on Facebook and Twitter at NCDOT. You can also follow us on Snapchat and Instagram at NCDOT.com. And from all of us at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, safe travels.
NASA is retiring its first planet-seeking telescope because it's out of gas. The Kepler Space Telescope was launched 9 years ago to look for new planets in deep space. Scientists credit the Kepler for changing the way they think about other worlds that people might visit someday. The spacecraft discovered more than 2,600 new planets. It also showed that up to 50% of the stars we see at night might be the centers of their own solar systems. Some of the planets orbiting them may even have water and be able to support human life. Kepler has depleted its fuel source, so NASA will retire it within its current orbit, which they say is a safe distance away from Earth. A Virginia teen is in trouble for stealing 2 snakes. After a local pet store reported reptiles missing, the high school student posted videos of a snake on Snapchat. The featured serpent was a ball python, just like the pair of snakes the store lost. A search warrant shows the student admitted stealing the snakes to one of his peers. He also reportedly brought a snake to school. According to the witness, the teen was planning to breed the pythons and sell their offspring. Police say the case will be resolved informally. A 10-year-old boy went out of his way to help his aunt who is fighting breast cancer. As Forrest Sander reports, the boy donated his hair for his beloved aunt's new wig.
Flooring. 10-year-old Braylon Wilson's holding tight. Aunt Jessie Price has got this.
He and I have just kind of always had a particular bond. He calls me Aunt Pudding.
I'm gonna be the best bowler in the world. At least I tried.
But when you miss, you go again.
Yeah! No one underestimates me.
It's one of the lessons he picked up from that aunt who's here now. Just like she's always been there. But Braylon knows it's been a hard year for Aunt Pudding.
I wouldn't have noticed the tumor had I not lost so much weight.
We're just trying to keep our spirits up.
Family and friends are bringing love, joy, bowling together to raise money for Jessie's breast cancer treatment. Braylon knew There must be something he could do for his Aunt Pudding.
It's important they know that you still love them, no matter how hard their disease is or sickness. I said, I'm gonna cut my hair off for you.
This box will hold Braylon's hair as it's sent off to be made into a wig, just for Aunt Pudding.
Ready? Mm-hmm. There's one. What is that?
It's a gift.
It's a bracelet that says you were strong, you were brave, you got this. In my family, there's no option but to fight. You have a good heart, Braylon. You know that, right?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Yeah. Not a lot of people would do that, what you're doing for me. The love that I have for that little kid is just out of this world, to say the least. He's a great kid. There should be more of him.
Ben & Jerry's is putting politics front and center with a new ice cream flavor called Pecan Resist. A company spokesperson says it's part of a campaign to lick injustice and help those fighting to make the U.S. a more equitable place for everyone. Pecan Resist is donating the proceeds to 4 groups focused on belonging, community, freedom, and justice. It's a limited batch ice cream, so if you're interested, try it while you can.
Remember the same-sex penguin couple at the Sydney Aquarium, Spin and Magic, who were given an egg to foster? The popular couple have hatched their egg. This little penguin baby weighs less than 1/4 pound. The aquarium staff says Spin and Magic are doing a great job looking after their tiny chick. The first 20 days are crucial, but once that delicate time is over, staff will be able to figure out the chick's sex and pick a name. The couple's foster egg came from another penguin at the aquarium who laid 2 eggs.
A regional rivalry turns out to be no contest.
And Braves soccer could go all the way in the Peach Belt tournament.
Keep it here. We've got Ty the Sports Guy after this.
I am a first-generation college student, and I am Brave Nation.
I'm a musician, and I am Brave Nation.
I am Palestinian Muslim, and I am Brave Nation.
I am from Monrovia, Liberia, and I am Brave Nation.
I'm a Christian, and I am Brave Nation.
I am Omega Psi Phi and Phi Mu Alpha, and I am Brave Nation.
I am disabled, and I am Brave Nation.
I did some research and I saw the demographics, the certifications, and the faculty and stuff like that, and I knew I wanted to at least visit. So I came down here for a visit, and my program advisor showed me around the place, the program, the buildings, and stuff like that, and I fell in love. I knew that this is where I wanted to go to school.
Welcome back. I'm Ty, the Sports Guy. I'm going to start with local high school football. The Scotland-Lumberton matchup got moved to Thursday night because of thunderstorms in the forecast, and that wasn't the only thing looking bleak. Check it out. To start the game, Scotland recovers their own kickoff and quickly makes Lumberton pay as Darius Dockery takes the handoff and gets Scotland on the board. They end up missing the point after. 6-0. Scotland Fighting Scots cheerleaders are enjoying the action. Now in the second quarter, with Scotland again deep in Lumberton territory, Saheem McQueen takes the snap and runs 15 yards for the touchdown. Scotland goes ahead 12-0, and the band plays on. Lumberton seeing shades of deja vu as Saheem McQueen scores another touchdown to give Scotland a 19-0 lead. Darius Dockery must be thinking, if Saheem can get 2 touchdowns, so can I, as he runs 40 yards for the score, 26-0. As the second quarter winds down, Saheem McQueen does it again, this time from 25 yards out, as he breaks through and scores again. The first half would end with the Scots up 32-0. Scotland would go on to shut out the Pirates, who didn't stand a chance. Final score, 40-0. Braves football traveled to Hickory, North Carolina to take on the 24th-ranked Lenoir-Rhyne Bears Saturday. With both teams coming off a win, the black and gold were looking for an upset, but without starting running back Josh Sheridan. Those hopes were quickly shut down in the first quarter when the Bears scored 28 points. Overall, Lenoir-Rhyne scored 51 unanswered points through the 3 quarters. The Braves' first points came with 12 minutes and 30 seconds in the fourth, off of a 39-yard field goal from kicker Alex Alvarado. When you look at the stats, Lenoir-Rhyne finished 335 rushing yards compared to Pembroke's 43. The Braves led the game in passing yards, but the Bears almost doubled Pembroke in total yards. The next game for the Braves is at home against 2-6 Mars Hill team. Volleyball finished off their home schedule on Tuesday against Southern Wesleyan. Akia Jones, Shannon Skird, and Amber Tyndall all tallied double-digit kills for the Braves as they beat the Warriors in straight sets. The Braves achieved their 7th straight non-conference victory. They reached double-digit wins in the season for the first time since 2014. The last game of the regular season will be Saturday at Flagler. Soccer played North Georgia for the second time in a week. Only this time, it was the first round of the PBC tournament. The first half was tightly contested. Nobody scored. But the 7 minutes into the second half, Stacy Scott scored a header from corner kick by Christine Rolfs. That was the only goal scored in the game, and it pushed the Braves into the semifinals. Goalkeeper Gina Ryan made a season-high 11 saves and moved to second on the Peach Belt all-time shutout list with 26 total. 8 of those have come this season. After the game, Coach Anderson talked about what it took to come away with a win.
I can't give you one. Really, this was a team win. The entire team stepped in, and we had players coming off the bench giving us 4 or 5 minutes that were crucial in this win. It really was a total team effort.
Stacy Scott also emphasized the team and said she's looking forward to the semifinals.
Scoring the game-winning goal is exciting. You know, it's definitely a team effort. I couldn't have done it without Christine's assist. You know, everyone else just being there for me, and I'm really excited. I think this team can repeat as champions, and I'm excited for these new players to experience something, and I'm just excited to go back to Evans, Georgia.
The Braves will play against the high-powered, number 3 ranked Columbus State on Friday. The winner advances to the conference championship game. On top of their victory, the Braves have now had back-to-back weeks in Peach Belt honors, winning both Defender and Goalkeeper of the Week. Though through the week, Gina Ryan allowed only 1 goal in 187 minutes and totaled 9 saves. Christine Rolfs earned her first career honors as Defender of the Week, helping the Braves finish off the regular season strong in a multi-goal win against Young Harris. Men's basketball kicks off the preseason tonight when they take on Ohio State University in Columbus at 7 p.m. That's right, our Braves, highlighted by preseason all-Peach Belt forward Akia Pruitt, are starting their season with more than worthy opponent. This will be the first of 5 games for the Braves before the team kicks off their regular season in a bid to win their 3rd straight PBC championship. And that's it for sports. I'm Ty the Sports Guy. I'll be back next week.
Thanks, Ty. We'll be back too. We'll tell you about local election results.
That's right. Don't forget to vote Tuesday. You've been watching Carolina News Today.